Cup, our Olympic champion, makes a mistake and gunner sacks. Boy, she's only got a 20/100 lead or so here on the rookie Schneider.
Yeah, good speed.
23/100. Well, I don't think there's Lyndon Rush on the left. Nice to see him over here helping out.
I didn't see him this week.
No, I didn't see him either. He showed up there. Worlds are coming.
Some skinny kid there. Lost 25 pounds as soon as he stopped eating and training like an athlete.
Well, I kind of believe she should have been 50, 60/100s ahead of.
Well, the first run,
Schneider.
109.10. Track records 108.4.
Watch the in by the brakeman, down. Now watch her come around the first curve. She goes to the right side of our screen if they go through here. I know we didn't see that, but I don't think that skid down there, that's worth the 10. That's at 80 miles an hour. That's not as bad, but she got around that first curve, and to me, she's erased a little bit of time.
Next up is Anne van Nieuwenhuis, newly become an auntie. She crashed in training in Whistler, tore the sled up a little bit, and then her teammate gave her some advice on how to survive the race, which she did to post her career best result. Alpha Willemsen, of course, then went on to crash. Both sleds had all their wrap torn off, and they were re-liveried in the hotel foyer in Brussels airport when they got back. They were wrapping the sleds in the foyer of the hotel.
Yeah, she had a 6:04 start. I mean, so she's buried at the start. Great driver. We've seen it. I mean, she's very persistent. Whistler last week, she had 2 crashes. And she shook that off like no problem. We won't see much variance here.
Fourth place
as soon as I said that, I jinxed it.
Fourth place in Whistler, just off the podium. And you can see both Belgian teams really angling to get in the medals again.
And late there. Difficult down there in the Nameless. And she had that mistake in Nameless and finally caught up with her down the bridge. 1 second back. That's all relative to the start. Good speed. 1:14. I mean, she's behind Chloe Humphreys by 41/100ths at the start, so she should be behind by 1.2 seconds at the bottom, which is exactly what she was. And she made some driving errors. I mean, they're all saying the track is very, very easy to get down, but it's very technically challenged, as we saw yesterday in the skeleton race.
Well, they were saying wall this year has been particularly tricky.
Well, here's trickiness coming out of Horseshoe. She taps before telephone. That's costly, but watch here. Watch how late she is here. This is down at the bottom part of the track, and look at this, how late she comes off. She made a mistake about 100 meters up, and she finally caught up with her there in the exit of Tree.
They're long, smooth corners, but they're still quick, 70, 75 miles an hour there. Well, next up, last year's winner. Last time Anja Schneider-Heinze won was this track with this brakewoman, Annie Dratzek.
This could be maybe 50.
2006 Olympic champion brakewoman. Schneider now 37,
track record.
5:50 start.
I knew it was going to be in the 50s, but I didn't realize it that good. If there's ever a time for Schneidi to get off the snide and win her first World Cup medal of the year, it'll be right here. This track, like you mentioned, she won here last year.
I was asking why she didn't race in Whistler, and Rennie Spies said she didn't really fancy it, so she went back to Europe to get more time on the ice here in St Moritz.
3,800s ahead now. She could really erase a lot of that with the entry here. That looks pretty good. Can she get out of here without tapping the wall?
She's got comfortably the best speed we've seen from anybody all the way down the track. I mean, way better than anybody else.
But she went 38 to 35, so she might drop into the, 33, so she's bleeding a little bit of time, but this will be the leader at the bottom. The question is, by how much?
Nice clean exit here, no tap on the wall, speed 138.5. That's great top speed from Schneidi.
And I think Schneider-Heinze is finally going to get off Schneid and win her first World Cup medal. At least, if not, what color it's going to be. There's a couple more sleds coming up to determine that. But
she's not been out of the top 6 all season, John, but she's not been in the top 3. 2 fourths, 2 fifths, and a 6th.
And that little place called Eagles next week is looming, and she's got a start time like this. She'll be a formidable force on that track. Look at the exit of Horseshoe. Well, pretty nice in the telephone, and You know, she's got a comfortable lead over Kaylee Humphries, but she crushed Kaylee at the start by 1300ths. Only beat her by 36 at the bottom. There's our lead. There's our leaderboard.
Schneider-Heinz leads from Kaylee Humphries and Stephanie Schneider, the rookie. And there is the busy start area here in St Moritz.
Spectacular start area.
History at every turn here. Christina Hengster now with Sanna Decker, the Austrian, one of 2 Austrian women's sleds in the competition. They are ramping things up before the World Championships start at their home track next week.
Yesterday, big day for the Austrians. Janine Flock won the World Cup here.
And the European Championship, of course.
Great PR tool as we go to the Eagles World Championships. So she's got to get about a 65. Low 60s here to challenge at the bottom. She can drive.
Stellar team here. She was the Youth Olympic champion in 2012. Her brakewoman, Sanna Decker, I beg your pardon, she was the Junior World Champion in 2012. Her brakewoman was the Youth Olympic champion on the back of a Dutch sled. So a really well-brought team.
Well, McNeil of Great Britain's low in the sled, but she's a small girl. Christina's a little bigger. Look how low she sits in the sled. Her profile, her eyes are barely above the cowling, and she's got to stop the bleeding. She's got to keep it at 39 here to stay within the top 3. And the exit here, crucial.
Nice height.
Beautiful. 38. She stopped the bleeding, and she's starting to eat into it a little bit. She could do it here at the bottom. She's been good all year long.
100 kilometers an hour at the last speed trap compared to Schneider-Heinz's 104.
Never been worse than 5th in a World Cup this year, including medals last week in Whistler 2 weeks ago.
Schneider
31.
Oh, she's got better speed. Schneider-Heinz, that's the fastest sled of the lot, this BTC sled.
Brings it down to 3100. You know, if you could look at it, though, she got beat by 2000ths at the start, 31 at the bottom. She outdrove, but this is what she's done all season. She's one of the best drivers in the field. If there's anything that her deficiency is the start time. To be 2000ths behind Schneider-Heinz, boy, that's going to be a difficulty to overcome next week at Innsbruck. Because Innsbruck, it's a short 52, 54-second track.
Listen, even Kaylee was 1300s back, and they don't hang around at the start.
Little drift, look at the runners. She gets in the horseshoe clean, and watch the exit here.
This is down between Martineau and Portago, avoids the dink on the wall.
Does she? I don't know, boy.
Yeah, tiniest brush there.
That was worth a few hundreds.
Yeah, it definitely was. Next up, our second German is our third German sled, Mariama Jamanka, the 25-year-old from Oberhof, who made her debut this season with the veteran Franziska Bertels behind her. Bertels started the year after the Torino Games. He's still competing.
Listen to the noise here for a second. It's so smooth. The athletes say riding in these sleds with the trees going by on either side of you, not some metal structure like in the refrigerated tracks. They say it's such a different experience. That's why they love the place. I mean, the ride is so smooth.
Yeah, even the brakemen, they get a nice, comfortable ride here. It's not as brutal as any other track, but the drivers, they get to see it. Brakemen should take a ride down in a taxi, Bob, so they can see what they're missing.
Well, yesterday the German four-man team went through Horseshoe all screaming. I think it was Friedrich's team. They're all screaming. They knew everybody's in the Horseshoe watching, and they're screaming through, enjoying themselves, which the athletes deserve to enjoy themselves when they come to this historic landmark in the sport of bobsled.
6th fastest at the start. Jamanka drives herself into 5th at the line.
Well, that start time, that's not bad.
Yeah.
2700s down at the start and only 85 at the bottom for this young rookie pilot from Bavaria, who the Germans like a lot. She went to North America, never been in the United States. She took on Lake Placid, took on Whistler. She's done great this season.
Pretty fearless. I tell you what, no surprise that Schneider is in the team, because she's in fact in front of Jamanka on her debut.
Well, the start time had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, that's true. No.
A few sloppy mistakes down here in the high-speed part of the tracks. Above Gunter Sachs.
Tidy those up, you find yourself 1/4 second. Well, next up is a 2-time race winner, a woman who's not been off the podium all year. Jamie Grubel-Poser with Sherelle Garrett, and like everybody else, missed a day of training because the weather was too warm to use the track this week.
Well, we should see a low 50s here, if not better.
26-year-old sprinter on the back, 32-year-old driver, former breakwoman Jamie.
Wow. Schneider-Heinz and Drazic, wow. If they get away in St Moritz next week with a start time like that, Grubels and Garrett, they're usually right up there. That's quite a deficiency to overcome.
Yeah, Schneidi started 50, Kaylee started 63, Jamie Grubel here 58.
All things being equal, Schneider-Heinz should have been about a 55 or 60. That's where she's been all season long, and relative to Jamie Grubel-Poser here. But look, Jamie could drive her way into the spot, too.
She could.
Ooh, she hits the lip.
Hits the lip. Well, little touch going in, just nudged her offline, but the speed is still good. 102.9. Only Schneider-Heinz has been faster.
Well, that lip, hitting that lip's going to take a little bit of the acceleration point, but she's eating into that. 2400s. This is where these BMW sleds at the high speed part of this track really accelerate.
Top speed 138.6, 138.7. Fastest sled of the lot.
Teens.
She'll be in second.
22,
Christina Hengster.
Well, just think if she didn't hit the top of that lift. Now, she lost 800s at the top, and she's 22 down. So she outdrove Schneidi on the way down.
Yeah.
But Schneidi didn't hit the lip with the roof and horseshoe.
Yeah, she got a little tap going into horseshoe, pushed her offline.
She says. Well, she's happy. But, it's the first time we've seen anybody up there on the roof.
Yeah, but it didn't knock her down badly.
Runner tips. Look at those pictures. Look at it. Yeah, you can see the runner tips. A little bit of minute steering. It's not the person that steers the most that wins. It's the athlete who steers the least. And on this track, minute feathered steering is what's going to be the most successful line.
Talking about steering the least, not quite enough steering down in the 12-13 transition in Whistler a couple of weeks ago, so Alpha Willemsen crash out of the race. The sled and the team are back to full fitness. Let's see what the second Belgian team can manage.
In the past, she used to have the unbelievable speeds on the bottom part of the track. She's going to need them today with that start time. She's 37 hundredths down. Next clock, she'll be like 55 probably, or 50 hundredths down. And then she'll have a chance to stop bleeding and maybe get it into 3/10.
Over a mile of ice to try and find that speed. These first few corners till you get to Snake, there's no pressure on the sled, no weight, and it's just so slippery.
Now she'll stop the bleeding now, but it's 7,300. She might get it down in the 40s, but when you have that deficiency of a start time, or Schneidi is that good. Here's 65, here she comes. Ooh, mistake there though, that's surprising. Is that a Devil's Dyke?
Ooh, late there as well.
Yeah, she'll get it down to the 40s. But buried at the top of the track.
Top speed 138.7, and she clicks through 139.5.
That's what she does. She's the queen of speed, but
fifth place at the line.
4:36
with Kaylee Humphrey.
Wow. Wait a minute.
She came
Wait a
7300s
down, and yonder Nash Dixon. Wow. That's just some pure driving.
So tied fourth with Kaylee Humphreys. Christina Hengster third for Austria. Jamie Grubel-Poser second.
And the mistakes here. There's some mistakes down at Devil's Dyke and then down into the tree section, which everybody says has changed a little bit all week long with the weather, how warm it was. The course changes here overnight.
So here is your leaderboard. Schneider-Heinzer with a 2200s advantage and a tie for fourth behind.
Good run.
Alana Myers-Taylor returns to World Cup racing. Only 2 World Cup starts this season. She's got Lauren Gibbs behind her, the 5'10" volleyballer from Los Angeles.
Ooh, doesn't get her arm in perfect. Oh, look at that little pressure there.
5:53 for the track start record holder.
And this usually she's 400 or 500s better than Schneider-Heinz. But she's matched up here with Lauren Gibbs too. But hey, nice to see her back in competition, first of all. And I saw her walking hand in hand with her husband, Nikki. And this is where they got engaged in 2013 at the awards ceremony when he proposed. And they were walking by, very happily.
200ths of a second off the lead, and she's closing down Schneider-Heinz to the leader.
See if she hits the limit.
She raced here last week, so she's been on this ice for 10 days.
Here she comes.
102, top speed, nobody faster than Alana Myers-Taylor.
Not really made any mistakes yet. And this sled flies on the bottom. She could pull away even more.
Ahead already. Top speed 139.5. What does she have in the bank? Oh, little skid. 139.4. But that will still leave her a quarter second in front at least.
Track record, maybe.
Should be, no. 3,500s. Wow.
108.39. She missed the track record by 1/100th of a second. That little tap on the exit of Gunnar Sachs down on the speed part of the track cost her the track record. But listen. Welcome back, Alana.
Well, the track is only going to get faster before the second heat, so that record is in real danger.
Start. Well, usually she blows everybody away at the start, but maybe a concern. Watch the arms here of Lauren Gibbs in the back. Lauren didn't have a clean entry into the sled. Got down on a great aerodynamic profile, but this is what cost her the record. Oh, we're criticizing her. She's got that much of a lead. Oh, you made such a mistake there and cost yourself the track record, Alana, but you've got a 3,500ths lead.
Well, where is she now? Olympic champion Kaylee Humphries is 7/10 back. Next up, Katrin Beil of Austria, the 23-year-old from Innsbruck. Her third ever World Cup race. Ex-hurdler with the 22-year-old brakewoman Victoria Hahn behind her.
She makes her World Cup debut, coming in for a headshot the other day. She's from Vienna.
Katrin was 7th in the Junior Worlds last week in Winterberg.
Start 577, it's not too bad.
Katrin says that her outstanding natural talent is being inordinately clumsy. She says, I keep hurting myself all the time. Well, hopefully she'll leave that behind her when she's in the sled.
These are pretty good lines. A little steering there, back into the sled. You can see she 5,400ths down. I mean, Elfyn Williamson was 7,500ths down at this point.
To have a look at the Omega timing system. It's on board the sled, but it's not feeding us anything back for the speeds. 6/10, so she's in 7th place at the moment off
bad.
8th place start.
This isn't bad at all. These are, she said, great lines all the way down the track. I don't want to jinx her. She's smooth. She's got a feel for it. You can see that.
Nice lines. 136.8. That's good speed as well down on the bottom.
She could beat both Germans, one of the German sleds here.
7th or 8th. 8th
she
place.
does.
Yeah, ahead of Mariama Yamanka.
That's awesome. Medford there on the right. He's got to like that of his young Austrian pilot. Her World Cup debut of the season.
Yeah.
She didn't come to North America like Christina Hengster, but it's not bad.
Looks at the time. And I think she might be quite happy with that.
Well,
1.1 off the lead, but
impressed with her driving skills down the track. Those are good lines all the way down. So, see, she sneaks through here.
Gonna tap.
No,
Boof.
it's ice, you know.
Actually, that wasn't a tap.
That was the only one.
That was a proper belt.
And that's before, right before the split, the finish high.
Starting to go uphill there.
Happy
But
though.
a big smile from her.
Awesome.
Well, next up is our pair of Russian sleds. This is Alexandra Rodionova, the 32-year-old Europa Cup leader with 3 wins, 3 seconds, and a third this season. Pierre Lude has kept the women's teams in Europe to build their confidence, get them used to being on the podium and winning, and that seems to be working.
Start time, negligent, 581. 11th of 12th starts. Don't understand that because both these females are good athletes.
Yulia Shokshweva, former track and field athlete, 27-year-old.
Didn't she come from Luge?
Shokshweva wasn't a slider before. Rodionova, I think, was.
These are all Wimmer sleds.
Well, they were 11th at the start, 10th as they get to Horseshoe.
Roller sled, excuse me. Hard hit there.
I was just about to say, she's starting to show some good drive lines. 8th position now, so
Not
she's
bad.
keeping the speed on board.
Considering that start time, these are pretty good lines. That one mistake up there in Devil's Dyke.
Good speed at the bottom, 139.5.
Should be top.
It's as fast as anybody.
Seventh, that's
Seventh
decent.
position. Well, off an 11th fastest start.
That's great.
And there you go, you know, she's back on the track where she raced last week. So she's got that knowledge and that confidence. And this is a head game, John, isn't it? You know, the technique, the technology, the speed and everything, but if the driver's head can't deal with it, and there's a couple in the men's field who are having a really tough year with that, then, you know, all the technology never helps.
A little sloppy here. Doesn't seem like much, but then the next curve, this is down the bottom where it's 80+ miles an hour, and those little taps like that, when you're still accelerating there.
Well, those two might have cost her a 10th, and if she'd had another 10th in the bank, she'd have been ahead of Kaylee Humphries. Here's the second Russian sled. Nadia Sergeyeva, 28-year-old now, started as a brakewoman in 2010 and began driving 3 years ago. 25-year-old Nadia Viderka behind her is a former 100 and 400-meter hurdler.
And get down. And watch the pressure come around this first curve. See, that's too much pressure. Some of the people that get around there, that's too much of a steer. So 46.7 kilometers was the speed. We've seen the better sleds with the better starts have over 47, high 47 speed velocity there, kilometers. That first curve, boy, you take it for granted, but especially in four-man bob, that first curve causes a lot of problems. 4,500 isn't bad. Sixth best start, so this is the better of the two driving teams. She's driving a Wallner sled. We found out this week Mr. Wallner was here.
Ooh, watch out, she's going to wreck it on the hook. She just held on to that.
But, his contract is up March 1st, and the Wallner sleds have been exclusively for the Russian team the last 4 years. He wanted to just get his point in that the Wallner sleds will be free for sale after this. Not any of these, they're all owned by the Russians, but there's another sled manufacturer back in business.
Well, she went from 6th at the start, 7th position when she got to Horseshoe, and now she'll be right at the tail of the field, but she got away with that by the skin of her teeth.
Look at Pierre, Pierre. I would think that's too bad too. She had it going, she had it. In the top 8, she would have been easy.
She could have been challenging Williamson and Humphries for top 5, but we're going to see Horseshoe again.
Well, you want to know how not to do it? That's it. Boy, there's a groove there into that ice, between the ice and the lip, and then she steers out. How she didn't roll that sled into the curve?
Well, watch what happens here. It knocks the back down, so she's steering hard, but the back is coming down. It's just following the wall at the top.
Does she hit again? Does she hit the wall? She hit it twice. No?
No.
Unbelievable.
She's trying to haul it off, but the back has been knocked back down the ice. That was out of her control. That was just good fortune.
I will say, that's the most spectacular slow-motion pictures I've ever seen.
Frightening. Rookie Katie Eberling with Kerry Jones behind her, 27-year-old ex-brakewoman, making her first World Cup start as a driver.
And a mistake out of curve 1. Katie just missed the Olympic team in the 2014 games after being on the brakes of 3 consecutive World Championship sled, that won medals. And boy, a hard luck story for her not making the Olympic Games. And look how persistent of an athlete she is. She decides, I'm going to go out and drive and control my own destiny. And she's made tremendous gains this year on the secondary circuits. And she's making her World Cup debut.
Huge Chicago Cubs fan. Apparently she's even thrown the first pitch at Wrigley Field.
That's a thrill.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's Wrigley Field as a little, what St Moritz is the bobsledding, Wrigley Field is the baseball of the United States.
Nice looking run. 7th place from 5th position to start. This is a World Cup rookie in her second season of driving.
Should be like 8th.
37.5 at the bottom. Good speed. Top 10 finish. 8th position. Tied with the other rookie at the other end of the field, Stephanie Schneider. So our 2 debutantes,
former brakemen. Both of them are former brakemen.
Nice stuff.
Mistake out of curve 1, couple mistakes at the bottom, but nice job, Katie.
There's Nick Taylor down the back, helping out with the sleds. He'll be competing in the 4-man race tomorrow, I think.
I don't think this helped her time. But
little nudge.
Look at the runner tips now. She's going to say, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Watch the runner start staring down. And, you know, she was patient, which you have to be patient in that curve.
Well, she got the height, and she got away with it. She has a big smile on her face. So Katie Ebeling completes the first run with her new brakewoman, Kerry Jones, who only started in the sport in October. Kerry, a massive 5'1". They're recruiting shorter and shorter athletes, but not on this sled. Alana Myers-Taylor with 5'10", Lauren Gibbs behind her. A blinding start, second quickest, but a great drive down the track to lead by 35 hundredths from last year's winner.
Usually she's got the best start and she wins with her start time, but here she didn't have the best start and she won with her driving skill. Passes after not being in the last 4 World Cups.
Well, she went away to get those concussion syndrome effects sorted out, and she said, I have not felt so good for years. Alana Myers-Taylor leads, and look at the gaps at the top of the field. Schneidi second, Jamie Grubel-Poser nearly 6/10 back in third, Christina Hengster on her heels, Alpha Willemsen and Kaylee Humphreys tied 5th ahead of Alexandra Rodionova. Then our rookies tied for 8th, Schneider and Ebeling. And down at the tail of the field, Sergeyeva, the Russian, who got away without a crash off horseshoe by luck and not judgment. That could have been a very nasty roll out of horseshoe. Well, that's it for the first of our 2 heats. Join us for the second and deciding encounter. The women will be back on the ice.
We got a little race in between, though.
10:45. We do. Men coming up next as we flip-flop between our 2 disciplines.
Ebenfalls dort genießen Sie Money Alleinunterhalter.